Good evening, everybody. And yes, this is not Paranormal Brew's normal day, but I was nice. I knew everybody would be busy yesterday doing their Valentine's thing, so I said let's do it on a Thursday. And one of my very good dear friends and who I love so much, Greg O'Brien. Most of you probably know this gentle giant. um, he is the paranormal host at Fort Mifflin in. Is that considered Philly?
Yes, it's considered Philly. Yeah, it's right there, right on the edge, between Philly and Delaware County, Tennicum.
Look who's here. Look, we
Yeah,
have
got a little West, West,
we have
West.
Wes and Dana, my
Oh,
peaches.
yes.
Um, so let's everybody's to say hi. I'll pop everybody's stuff up. If anybody has questions, I'll star them. Or if it's if it works, I'll slide it in there while we're talking. But I want to talk about because Fort Mifflin, the fort that saved America, is a tagline. We all love to go and ghost hunt and look for ghosties and this and that there, but it was hit with storms, and unfortunately, there was some damage. There was a lot of damage done to the fort, and I'm not rich, or else I would literally give them the money to fix it. So I'm doing my part to try to help out as much as I can. Having Greg on. Also, we'll get to this later, but the Peaches are going to help out with an event there on June 8th. But there's ways other people can help out. We love to, help. We need to help out, right? So, Greg, let's just really quick, just kind of talk a little bit about yourself, and then let's get into Fort Mifflin, the history there, and we'll go from there.
All righty. Well, I and host of Fort Mifflin Paranormal. Before that, I actually got into the paranormal because of Fort Mifflin. Uh, the Scouts, we went for it. This was way before it was on TV for anything. Scouts, they have a great scouting program, and we spent a night there, and it was like nuts. It was unbelievably nuts. We're running around, adults chasing figures, thinking they're scouts, chasing. It was so active. Then that's really I got into the paranormal, and the ghost hunters came out. Their season started, and then they came out the second year. To the fort, so that's when I got on TV. But I got interested in the paranormal. I was in a couple paranormal groups, and I helped out, volunteered at the fort for years, and then eventually I just got asked if I just wanted to be the paranormal host at the fort, and it's been like 6-7 years now that I've been the paranormal host. So before that I investigated everywhere you can think of, and then now I've just settled into the fort, my home away from home.
Yeah, which I love. It's literally 15 minutes from my house too, but I
Yeah.
never get there enough. I really should get there more.
You should, anytime. Just let me know, and we'll do some stuff out there. It's
Yeah,
I love
I actually like to try to do something during the day.
the day is good. That's what I tell a lot of people. Just come out during the day. We're open when we're officially closed now till March, but when we're open, it's Wednesdays through Sundays, and it's 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And if there's not any school groups or anything going on during the week, it's very dead. We could get one or two people during the day on Wednesday or Thursday or something like that. So hardly anybody comes in, and so I tell a lot of people that if you want to come in, pay the $10 fee to get in, and you can spend the whole day in there. And a lot of people do that, and some people get the membership fee, and they come out as many times as they want during the year, and they'll come out during the day, and they don't have to worry about the crowds or anything. And a haunted place is haunted 7 by 24. It doesn't have to be, it's just not night. So,
So true. So true.
so yeah, so a lot of good full body apparitions have been sighted during the day. A lot of stuff happens during the day. So
Well, you got that awesome picture too that I never knew you had up until what, like last year or the year before?
yeah, but from a school group,
Yeah.
yeah,
I wish
the
I had it
figure,
to share it on here. It's amazing.
yeah, it's pretty amazing. That was a school group. We got really popular with the schools, and they came out, and this person was told, hey, when they take pictures, make sure you take 4 or 5 in a row, and this kid was taking pictures all through the fort, and he didn't notice anything. And then, yeah, and when he got home, his mom went through to look at the pictures, and then this one popped out of there, and it's a figure. It's a tri-cornered hat and everything. It's in casemate 5,
That's
she
amazing.
asked him about it. He goes, I didn't know this guy wasn't there. There was tour guides with them, but this wasn't one of the tour guides that was with that group. They had a tour guide, and he wasn't the tour guide. It wasn't the uniformed tour guide that was taking him around with.
No, that was
So
that was like a, what would you say the dress was? I mean, it was
it was a weird. I mean, it was definitely a tri-cornered hat, and it seemed wet, the outfit. So I don't know. It was like
yeah,
if the guy was from a sailor with that hat that came off a boat, or a Revolutionary War soldier. I
it did
don't
look
know.
wet. It
Yeah,
did look wet. I
yeah,
agree with you.
yeah. It's got a gleam to it,
Yeah,
So
it is
yeah,
literally one of the best photos I've ever seen.
yeah. It
Down,
could have
down.
been somebody that drowned off the coat on a
Oh,
boat.
that's true. That's
Yeah.
true,
Yeah,
Greg.
we get tons of drowning victims there.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah.
let's talk about the history really quick. Well, not really quick because it has a lot of history, but tell everybody a little of the history of Fort Mifflin that doesn't know about Fort Mifflin.
Okay. Well, Fort Mifflin is very unique. Fort Mifflin was your longest active military fort in United States history. Um, was built by the British in 1771 to defend Philadelphia. Uh, Philadelphia at that time was your largest English-speaking city in the colonies. The fort was laid out in 1771, and it actually served all the way through the Korean War before it was deactivated in 1954. Again, you had the Revolutionary War. It earned the nickname the Fort That Saved America, as you said. They had 400 men. They held the British off for 5 weeks. Um, William Howard already walked into Philadelphia, and he needed his resupply. And there was 250 British ships coming up to Delaware. And between Fort Mercer and Fort Mifflin, they were able to hold them off for 5 weeks. Eventually, the British completely destroyed the fort. Um, it was manned during the War of 1812. Um, by then, Philadelphia was not the capital, so the British didn't come all the way up. Civil War was a military prison. World War One, World War Two, munitions depot. World War Two, they even added anti-aircraft guns at the fort, and then the Korean War was a supply depot, and again deactivated in 1954, and then the historic part of the fort was deeded to the city of Philadelphia in 1962. So the grounds around Fort Mifflin, the historic part, are still considered Fort Mifflin. You have the Army Corps of Engineers there, based out of Fort Mifflin, and you have the 102nd. It's the 102nd, 100th. It's the 103rd Engineering Brigade is out there, right there, and plus there's the 56th Stryker Brigade Army Reserve that's based right there too. So you know, you could still say Fort Mifflin is active because when there's any kind of activities with the National Guard, or they come over and do their recertification for physicals. They come over there to do their calisthenics. They do the runs. Any kind of promotional retirement ceremonies they come over and do. So the fort still gets used by the military to this day.
See, I love places like this. I love places that just are meaty histories and meant something. You know what I mean?
Right.
I can't. So you then you start going to Fort Mifflin because you love history.
Correct. My son, when he was like 2, because this whole area, so much history with the Revolutionary War. I would take him down to Brandywine, the Battle of Brandywine, the reenactments. There's Waynesboro, General Anthony Wayne's homestead. There's Paoli Battlefield, and the Germantown, Philadelphia. And then I would take him to Fort Mifflin for all the reenactments: the Civil War, the Revolution, the World War II reenactments. So. yeah, that's how I got involved. You know, I think a lot of paranormal people they love their history. That's how you get involved.
Yes.
And you know, and that's something I think you should know if you're going to be in the paranormal. Learn your history.
Yeah, for sure. Um, so so you go there and you go there and you have your first paranormal experience.
Correct. Yeah.
So tell everybody what happened.
Well, there was a bunch of scouts, and again, didn't know it was haunted. And again, it was before ghost hunters came there and everything. So the caretaker that was there, Wayne, if anybody remembers Lorraine and Wayne Irby, Wayne would he went around. He would tell ghost stories about being haunted, and it was like, wow, we didn't know it was haunted. And again, there was the first season of Ghost Hunters, so people were watching Ghost Hunters. But um, we put kids to bed, and they had the kids in bed, and there was four of us. um, Wayne had said the most haunted spot in the fort is considered casemate 5. So four of six of us, there was 3 adults and 2 kids. We said, oh, one guy's like, well, if we're going to spend the night in a haunted place, might as well spend it in the most haunted spot in the fort. So 3 adults, myself and 2 other adults, and our kids sons, we stayed in there. Now we're in there, and we're hearing footsteps up and down the hallway. And so we're getting up and checking out the other scouts and the other leaders. Everybody's else asleep. No one, we're doing head counts. Go back, you hear these footsteps. Then you're hearing talking. You're hearing talking. We're going, and then we go out, hearing talking outside the casemates, and we see full bodies. So there's 3 of us adults going around thinking there's somebody there, or there's a scout or something wandering around, and we're chasing these bodies all around the fort.
So crazy. And you
And
guys weren't even paranormal investigating. You guys were just kind
no,
of
just did. And that's the first time I heard the scream from the screaming lady. We all heard that thing go scream, and it's a blood curdling scream. It's not a fox, it's not an eagle, hawk, or it's blood curdling, and we all heard that. And so yeah, that was a night that was, unforgettable. I mean, um, so that's how I got interested in paranormal, and I started watching good old Taps Ghost Hunters after that.
the best for
And
sure.
we were scheduled for the following year to go back, and we were notified we have to reschedule you. Something came up, and it turned out that's when Ghost Hunters was there. They came that week, and they were there the whole week, and so we were supposed to be there that weekend, but we had to reschedule because they had taken the fort.
Wow. Ghost hunters took over the fort.
Yep, they were there the whole week.
So I want to get into some of the paranormal claims, but I guess I kind of want to like tell everybody what's going on post storm wise with why Fort Mifflin needs our help. I mean, that is, I wanted to have you
Right,
on because I know that the fort is having it was damaged by storms. So I just wanted you to talk a little bit about that.
right. We had this nasty winter storm that came through the area, and um, there was up to 60-mile-an-hour winds, and it blew the roof off of our one building, the officers' quarters. It
So sad.
completely ripped the roof off, and Fort Mifflin um, is sits below the river level. Fort Mifflin was built on what was called Mud Island, and it still lives up to its name. It was uh, when they built the fort on the highest part of the island, and during high tides, the rest of the island would be underwater. But we have a seawall that was put in to keep the fort from flooding. Now, when the storm was coming, we have the Army Corps of Engineers that's right next to us, and there's the McFarland. It's the big dredging boat that keeps the channel open in Delaware River. It's a huge, monstrous boat. So the whole crew had been called in, and they were on the boat, and they were up in the control room, watching the whole storm. And they're the ones that actually contacted and sent the first pictures of the roof that was blown off officers' quarters to notify us.
God.
But they had said the wind was blowing so hard that there was 3 feet of waves that went over the seawall. Now, the Delaware River during normal high tide, it's like 3-4 feet below the seawall. So you can imagine 3 feet of water going over our seawall. So besides the roof getting blown off, the fort got flooded, and there's a moat around the fort. And Delaware River is a tidal river, so we have a sluice gate, and the sluice gate's probably it's well over 100 years old. And what that does is regulates the water that goes in and out of the moat. So you have like sluices, so as they're gates, and then when the tide goes out, they open and lets the water out, and as tide comes in, they close to keep more
Mhm.
water coming in. Well, this storm messed the sluice gates up. So we've had 2 attempts to try and get these sluice gates um, somewhat working, but it's failed so far. So water's not able to drain out.
Oh, no.
No, so we have water. You've seen the moat. Uh, the water's all the way up to the fort wall.
How?
It's the fort is just like surrounded by water right now.
Oh, wow. That's
Inside,
scary.
yeah, inside it's basically a pond from the powder magazine all the way to the blacksmith shop.
No.
We have water in the casemates. We were supposed to have an event this weekend, Saturday. One of our good events, family fire pit event, and we had to cancel it because
See, and that's sad. That's like money that you guys are losing.
yes,
You know
that's
what I
money
mean?
that we can't recuperate. So yeah, we had to cancel that. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. It's unfortunate. We've had all these coastal floodings, minor coastal floodings that have been going on, and that's been helping with the flooding too. It's keeping Delaware River has been higher than it normally is, so it keeps helping prevent any more water to drain out of um, the sluice gate. So
Yeah.
yeah, so
Oh,
unfortunately, that's where we are. We had the roof is estimated maybe they're estimating $100,000 to get that, because the roof's off, and then with the damage to the trestles and everything, it's got to get a lot of work. So
and unfortunately, like the way the condition that the fort is in at the moment, you can't even really host events to try to kind of.
now we can't get anybody out to try and help or anything because just the conditions of the how the grounds are.
I mean,
Just,
I mean, paranormal teams can go pay to go out there to investigate and stuff. I mean, I'm sure is
well,
that allowed?
right.
Or you guys
Well,
aren't
right.
that?
We are still in March. We're going to open up, and March we're going to hopefully that's going to be our first open investigation. So that we're hoping by then um, we'll be able to. I mean, you can, you know, um, officers' quarters to first floor. We've done some plastic and stuff, the temporary to keep it dry. So that's good. Barracks is good. Everything's good except you can't get back to the West Sallyport, the powder magazine. You just have to trudge through water, and the casemates is, if you're going in, you go past casemate 1, there's that little bend, and then there's 2, 3, and 4, the small ones, and then 5 in the back. So from 1 to 3, that's all water. So,
Mm.
so we're hoping we get some more attempts to get into the sluice gate and work on that. What good has come out of it is Philadelphia Airport. We had 10 um, people from the airport come out, a whole group of, and they are going to replace the sluice gate. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, there's no timetable right now of it. They came out, as I said, there was 10 of them. I mean, it was like the whole board, and they
The
estimated
airport. Why? That's interesting.
the airport. A lot of the flooding that has happened. We flooded. You know, I mean, we're used to flooding. It's just stuff getting out, but the flooding got more severe when they extended the runway.
Oh,
See, that
so
was all more.
kind of
Fort,
responsible.
yeah, Fort was an island. There was islands all around, and they got backfilled in 1800s. But then when the airport expanded, you know, when you come in down Hog Island Road there, you know, you go through that tunnel, you know, that's the airport expanded their runway there. So that's all filled. So they're taking responsibility for a lot of the flooding.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah,
That was awesome. Thank God.
yeah, they've estimated it's going to be 1 million plus.
Well,
And
thank God. Could you imagine if you guys had to?
right. So their plan is to bring a big barge up the river with some, you know, all the equipment, and they want to take the old sluice gate out. I guess they have to work with the tides, you know, low tide stuff, and then eventually replace it. Um, so right now it is in the permit stage. There's going to be a lot of permits that have to get taken care of. You know, EPA, you know, with everything, you know, because
Yeah.
you know we're going to be, you know, there's a lot of permits that are going to have to be done. So that's the stage we're in. So um, so eventually it's going to get done. It's just, you know, it would have been nice sooner than later, but so we'll see. But eventually we'll get a new sluice gate, and that will ratify a lot of the flooding problems.
West said hopefully more modern sluice gate.
Oh, it's going to be a really good modern sluice gate. Yeah, they're going to pull the old one out, fill that area where the old sluice gate was, and relocate the new sluice gate in a little bit away from the old one. They figured that has better drainage where they put a new one. So they've been out there, so it's good. So we'll see what happens, but that they are committed to it. So
That's awesome. Because
that's
I
good
mean, could
news.
you imagine if that was something that you guys? I mean,
It couldn't be done, you know. I mean,
yeah, no, that would
just
be.
everything, you know. I mean, you know, if that wouldn't get, if the sluice gate wouldn't get replaced with the troubles that it's been causing, you know, I mean, the fort wouldn't be able to be
Yeah, no.
stand in
Eventually, that it
5 to
would.
10
It would.
years, you know, it would just
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah,
completely flooded and useless. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, and no money would be going into it because you guys couldn't do it because of the flooding. You know, it's
right.
like catch-22. It's like a circle that you're constantly in. You know, so thank God that's going to get fixed.
Yep.
Is there? Dana was asking. I want to say, is there a fundraiser or anything like that going on?
There is. It's if you go to the website fortmifflin.us, or go to the Fort Mifflin Facebook, and you go through there, you will see. I mean, it's a long.
The link. Can somebody get that and post it in the comments?
It's like HTTPS. Let me write it down. I can't do that in the comments, can
You
I?
can't comment. You can't.
Let me
HTTPS.
see.
Hold on.
Let me see.
HTTPS.
Can I? HTTPS colon
Uh-huh.
/ BIT
Oh, hold on.
dot
BIT dot.
/Y.
Wait, dot backslash.
Yes, that's
Okay.
weird. Y / Fort Mifflin storm help.
Fort
One word.
Mifflin. Greggy, I didn't even know about this.
Yeah.
I would have.
Yeah, it's out there. Like I say, it's
All right. Let me see if this works. So, okay. There's the link. Hi, Lourdes. I think this is it, right? HTTPS
https://bit. Yeah, it's a weirdie. Let's see.
Fort. Oh wait, I spelled Mifflin wrong. I only put one F. Balls.
Hold on.
I think Megan. Hold on a second. Megan.
Yeah, she probably.
I spelled Fort Mifflin wrong, dummy.
Yeah.
Let me see.
But if you go, like I say, you go out to the web page or the Fort Mifflin.
Has it raised any money yet?
Yes, it's gotten some good money so far. So it's people are contributing to it. So it's contributing. Yeah. Okay. HHPS:.
Oh, balls! I can't. Go ahead.
Back. Let's see. I wish I could send. You know what? Let's do this.
Let me see.
It's weird, but I'll get it to you.
I keep on putting these. I didn't know about it, or else I would have had it ready. I could have just put it in there, you know?
Yeah.
So
I send it to you.
Okay, cool. So I'm happy that there is a fundraiser. I'm also happy that the airport is taking care of that, because I can't imagine, let me see, copy here. I can't imagine you guys having to worry about the sluice gate. Oh, Dana posted it. I'm sorry. There we are.
Yep. So, yeah, I know. It's just, I mean, it's just, I mean, if anybody that deals in historic locations, you know that there's constantly issues. One of the people always ask, where's the money going? Where's the money going? It's a nonprofit organization, Fort Mifflin, Delaware. There's one full-time person, Elizabeth Beatty, who's the executive director. And if it wasn't for Elizabeth, this place wouldn't be standing right now. It'd be done. I mean, she puts in mega hours. She has to take care of everything of the fort. Wasn't for her, there'd be nothing. So the fort, like I say, was deeded to the city of Philadelphia in 1962. We do not get a dime from the city. The city, the only thing they pay for is the utilities, electric, water, telephone, and the internet. So we have to take care of everything ourselves. We reach out to the city constantly, and really, when bicentennial came, Wilson Good put some money into the city fort to get it for bicentennial. When Mayor Ed Randell was mayor and governor of Philadelphia, he helped out the fort a lot. But since then, we don't get a dime. We get no help from the city at all, which is very unfortunate. After this storm was reached out, and this new administration is like, they all play dumb, and it was like, don't even think you're part. We have you, and it's like, yes, you have. You. The fort was deeded to you. There's legal documents. You are the owners of the fort, and they came back. Oh, yes, we found that. Yes, we are. We'll look into it, and that's it. Prior administration was totally useless too. We had a water main break a few years ago, and so we had no water to the fort facility or anything. So it lasted for over 4 months. Eventually, the Army Corps of Engineers, who are our neighbors, Again, all that land, the Army Corps of Engineers, the National Guard units, all that used to be all Fort Mifflin when it was an active military base. They had a series of fire hydrants that depended on that water main that came through us. So they ended up patching it, and the city was supposed to replace the whole line. I was there the one day when the city representatives came in after, we had no water for 4 months, and I'll never forget it. They got out of their cars, they looked around, and they said, "Wow, didn't even know this place existed." And it's like,
What?
yeah, so that's what we've been dealing with. So it's
Wow.
unfortunate. So we try, we reach out all the time, and
And
just
now, do like people, do you, and I don't know if these people exist. I always think they do, but I don't even know if they do. But are there people out there that do like historian and people like that, or foundations or grants? Like, can the
there are the stuff. I mean, but we need to. Um, Beth puts in what she can do to get these grants, but like I said, she's the only full-time person there.
I hear they're
Uh,
hard to get.
they're hard to get. You need somebody that's
They're
going
hard.
to be dedicated to take care of them.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, like you look at White Hill Mansion, they've gotten a lot of nice grants and stuff because they have a lot of good local authorities that help them. Selma Mansion too got a lot of stuff because of their local um, officials stepping forward, going out and getting them. Unfortunately, with Philadelphia City Council and even we had one of the state senators that represent Pennsylvania state senator, but he represents the Philadelphia area. Actually came out and it was like, all right, I'll make sure my aide gets back to you, and we'll go over do stuff with everything with the grants, and nothing ever happens. So
I
that's
mean,
the way
look
it is.
at the airport is going to be fixing something that's over $1 million. You mean to
Hmm.
tell me that the city of Philadelphia, with all the money they're giving out nowadays to people,
Hmm. Hmm.
that they can't, you know, find somewhere where the fort is probably owed that money anyway. To be honest with you, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's why is it so hard to get grants for things that this is a piece of our history, of this nation's history. You know what I mean?
Right,
You think that
right.
something like
You
that
would
would be
you would
easy?
think. You would
Yeah.
think. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, it's just very unfortunate that we're in this position, and so if anybody out there has connections that you can you know light a fire under somebody, you know, send them down to the fort so we get some things taken care of. I mean, we have to cut our own grant. We're technically under the Philadelphia's Parks and Recreation division,
Oh,
and
really?
yeah, um, that's who we're supposed to be under.
Are you considered like a national park?
We're not. No, we're
You're
Philadelphia Parks and Recreation. It's under the
oh,
city.
Parks. Okay, I thought you
Okay.
meant.
Now we're under Philadelphia Parks and Recreations. So they take care of all the parks, Fairmount Park, all that, with land, cutting grass, all that stuff. You think they'd come out and you know take care of our grounds? No, we have to take care of all our own grounds. There's 40 acres there, plus, right around the fort is like 20 acres. So we have all that grass to cut. Um, we have the nature trail that has to be kept open. So there's, trees falling down. You got change those. You got all kinds of stuff that needs to be done. Just grounds work. And then
Mhm.
plus all the buildings that, you got to run around, and we just putting band-aids on everything so they keep everything going. There's all that. Plus, the expenses, you have liability insurance, you have the toilet paper, paper towels, everything, that you need to have it there, So, that's where the budget goes.
Westwood, is it considered a national historic site?
It's National Historic Site. Yes, it is. That's
Yes.
why we're not allowed to metal detect there or anything because it falls under that. So, um,
Really
oh
interesting.
yeah, yeah. So you'd have to get an archaeological, and we've tried to get some. We're working on trying to get some
I'm surprised
archaeological
there
dig.
isn't any archaeological people that would want to come in and I mean, if I was an archaeologist, I'm like, I will volunteer myself to come in and do a dig there.
Yeah, come on. I mean, there's places that they come in and they do it and they invite people to come in and help out and stuff. So, yeah, we would love that. So there's a lot of places that I would love to dig because we have some of the old maps that show where some of the older buildings that were there that were knocked down years ago. Um, dig in there.
Uh, Kim
Yeah,
was saying, I wonder if landscapers would donate their services as like a write off.
we would try. I mean, with the fort, with its history with being haunted, we had hired um, a new landscaper guy to take care of the grounds last year. He came out and um, I, I don't know. I think he lasted maybe 2 weeks. Just one day he got up and said, "I'm out of here," and he took off. So he must have had a little visit by some of the spirits there, and he decided he was leaving. So he
Interesting. I
he
want to
wasn't.
get into that. I want to get into some of the some of the
Yeah,
claims and stuff.
yeah. I'll talk about the ghost now and get off the
Uh,
depressing.
but
So anybody that can help, please do. And
no,
and
no,
and
no.
when
I still want to talk about that. Todd's asking, hi, Todd. Todd's asking, evening all just hopped on. Have you been able to do any repairs to the fort since the storm?
no repairs, just some preventive stuff with the officers' quarter to keep water out. Um, really, no repairs. The sluice gate, like I said, we've attempted twice to get down there to get that so that we can get more water drained. That's failed. So no, we haven't, and because again, the grounds are pretty saturated, and it's just uh,
Yeah,
not doable right now.
yeah. Carmen wants to know, do you think the spirits at the fort get affected by the storms that come through?
I'm sure they do. I haven't been, we haven't had any paranormal stuff come this last few months. Again, we haven't been having anything going on. Been
Uh,
having to cancel a lot of stuff. Um, so, yeah, I got to get down there. It's just been too yucky. I mean, like I say, it's, it's just, it's very muddy and not
yeah,
not very good. So,
yeah, yeah. Carmen also wants to know about Casemate 11.
Casemate 11's fine. It's like I say, the West Sally Port's flooded. You got it's like a lake that goes where there's that old drainage that runs back to get the water out to the moat. Since the moat's not flowing out, that's all backed up. So the blacksmith shop, from the blacksmith shop back to your artillery to the blacksmith shop, all the way up to the pattern magazine, it's just all water. And then there's water in casemates, 2-3 inches of water that you got to trump through in there. So and
Mm-hmm.
then like outside the fort, the moat is all the way up against the walls of the fort. So
Oh,
um,
that's scary.
yeah.
Kim says wants to know, was the fort always getting damaged like this, or is this just pretty recent?
Oh, it's this is the most extensive that it's been done. I mean, we flood regularly. Not this bad, I mean, because we are
Oh yeah,
below.
that sluice gate would work. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
when the sluice gate would work, and then we are below the river level, so if you get a heavy rain, it sits for a while before it goes out. So, um, but it has flooded. I mean, there's a high water mark. I always like to show people there's a little plaque on the enlistment barracks on the wall that's about 3 feet up. That's the high water mark of 1933. That so um, the military at one point had massive pumps they put underground that keep it from flooding, but I
Mhm.
guess they've been deactivated. I guess when the fort got deactivated, so those pumps aren't running. I mean, we have the big electrical panels where for the, to work the pumps, but there's nothing connected to them. So uh,
Right.
they were always going. And now too, if they actually did work, I mean, where are you going to pump it? Because the water's everywhere.
Right. It's everywhere. That's
Yep.
so sad. Um. So, and then there was another. Oh, Wes said, "I know firsthand the spirits love Greg being there. Well, except for the judge, maybe."
Yeah. 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 The spirits. I mean, they're great. They know all of our names, or everybody that's there, except for a couple of the new people. Um, we've all had experiences. They know our names. They test you. They give you an initiation, to see if you're going to stay or not. They will try to spook you. And the judge, yeah, the judge, he was a political prisoner. Like I say, Civil War, this was a military prison. So
Right. Right.
we
Right.
had Union, Confederate, and political prisoners. So, um, yeah, so yeah, we
One
could
thing
talk
I love.
about the
One thing I
spirits.
love. Yeah. Yeah. One thing I love that you guys do also is like whenever there's an event and stuff like that, you always guys fire off the cannon. Which, by
Yeah,
the way, did we ever recover the cannon?
no,
What?
it went, it went to a dead end. I'm not going to get into that, but
Oh my gosh! You gotta be kidding me.
yeah, it went into a dead end. Um, there was leads going one way and leads going another way, and unfortunately, I mean, the community, if it ever turned up,
How does somebody get away with a freaking cannon?
well,
I guess you
there's,
can't really talk about it, but I'm just
yeah, I
saying
really can't talk about it, but um, we have our suspicions and everything like that, and it's just,
terrible.
unless it can be
I
completely
hope
proved.
whoever took it is getting haunted,
Yeah, it would be nice.
like
I
bad
mean,
haunted, to the point where
yes.
they bring it back.
Yeah, it would be nice if it, I mean, it was a reproduction, but still, it was there
It still
for,
wasn't theirs.
yeah, it was there for years. I mean, that thing was there 20, 30, 40, 50 years. I mean, that thing's been there for a long time. So,
Yeah.
and being fired so many times, it's got to be, some of the people that fired it, have passed away. So maybe there's some residual energy with that will cause these people to bring it back. So yeah.
Kim says the Peaches will be spending an overnight there soon, so
Yep.
we'll be waiting. Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yep.
yes, yes.
Yeah. I'll make sure everything's dry by then.
And Wes said you might have a Canadian guest, which you're always welcome, Wesley.
Yes. Yes. The hoser will be down. Yes. From the
um,
Great White North.
and then she says, "So you'll snore, you'll sleep outside." Stacy Lee wants to come.
Oh, sounds good. Stacy could pick some good uh, energy
Yeah.
up.
All right, so let's get into some of the spirits somebody can encounter at the fort.
All right. Well, as I always like to tell people, Fort Mifflin is unique in the paranormal community because of the layers of the history, your layers of death, and your layers of spirits. Again, going back to Revolutionary War, it was a 5-week siege. You had 250 out of 400 men killed or wounded. When it was being rebuilt under John Adams, it was the yellow fever epidemic that went through Philadelphia. I mean, killed 10,000 people out of 50,000 people. So we had yellow fever deaths, Civil War, again, military prison conditions were horrific. There was disease, mostly dysentery, went killing prisoners, killing people, the garrison, husbands, wives, children through the fort. Um, we're right on the Delaware River. Drowning victims, documented left and right. Drowning victims. People actually drowned in the moat. We had executions, hanging, firing squad. So it covers everything.
That
So
firing squad is brutal, by the way.
yeah, they were
That's a
just,
brutal, but
yeah,
hanging also. But
yeah, the hanging of it, the gala with William Howe, that was inside the fort. The firing squads were done outside by the picnic area. We
and I
had
didn't know there were 40 acres there too. By the way,
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize they go inside the fort, they don't go out. But if you go out by the picnic area up the stairs, there's the seawall, which unfortunately was damaged by this storm too. So that's got to get addressed. Um, But you go down the seawall. There is, I don't know if you've ever been there, but in the 1870s, they extended, they put gun batteries down about a quarter of a mile down the river. So there's casemates down there and the gun batteries that were put in
Okay.
there.
Why haven't you ever taken me there?
Well, come on out, we'll get you down there.
Yeah.
Um, that was 1871 to 1874. They were built down there. And then there was, I think, supposed to be 9 guns back in there. And then there's another, uh, we have a fire pit back there. There was a scout project. They put bat houses up back there. It's really nice back in there. And then then later on they had these mortar battery they put in, but they never reused. And they are some casemates too that are back there. So there's a that was overgrown for years. And when we started clearing that, that's when we came across a couple of the World War II anti-aircraft gun muzzles that we found. So there's a lot still waiting to be found there at the fort.
You
But
know,
any
something good might come out of all this water. Maybe it might unearth some, what's that?
Well, when we have a music festival every year. It's a rental. It's called um, geez, what the heck? I can't. My mind just gonna break. Making Time is Rad. It's a big ass. It's grown. It's a 3-day music festival. There's over 1,000 people a day come to the fort. They bus them from different places and come in. It's amazing. They have performers come from all around the world to come and perform at the fort. It's like a major rave party. The DJs
You got the
and
glow
they yeah,
sticks.
they got the lighting company that does the major lighting. They would do the lighting at City Hall in Philadelphia with all the graphics and everything, and they did the lighting at Longwood Gardens. They come out and they light up the buildings. All the buildings go to the music, and there's figures, and
That sounds
it's
so
just a
fun. Like I want to
it,
do it.
yeah. It's September every year. But this past year, September of 23, it was a nor'easter came and it got flooded. I mean, and so the grounds it looked like a cow pasture afterwards. So,
Oh no.
well, the promoter ratified the situation. I mean, he was responsible, spent over $10,000 to get new sod and seed. He graded everything. But before that, uh, bringing that up, with all that was churned up, we recovered old buttons, musket
Wow.
ball, um, coins, old coins. They were all turned up from all that. So there's stuff just right under the ground. So it'd be nice to be able to, uh, I guess.
If you can't dig, you can't use a metal detector. Hopefully, maybe
So
some of the water might bring some
yeah,
stuff.
the water could bring some more stuff up. Yeah, it'd be nice to pop up.
So Todd is saying my wife and I were there for the siege weekend, and it was awesome. Experiencing the reenactments, you could feel the energy. Does that event stir higher activity?
Yes, yes, it does. It's um we were there with the scouts that first time, that was the weekend afterwards, and that's when the place was just nuts, every square inch. And I had told a group this year, they had asked, what's the best time to come? And I said, get there as soon as you can after the siege. And they came on a Monday night after the siege, Saturday and Sunday, and they had incredible experiences.
You've
So
actually told me that too, Greg.
yeah. So it stirs it up big time. That's when you'll see full bodies, and it's just incredible.
Yeah.
It gets them going, and you actually will start hearing cannon fire and musket fire too. It's like they're still fighting.
Andrew Darling, he can. Wait, you can't dig though. You can't dig there.
I know we got to get an archaeological team in there,
Can it
and
be an archaeological team from anywhere, or do they have to be from Pennsylvania?
I don't know. We try to get anybody,
I
someone.
know, guy.
We were the
I know
group
a
that
guy.
did the group that was over that did the digging over at Mercer, found the cannons and some of the bodies and stuff. We've been in contact with them to try and get them out there and do some stuff too. So
I do know
uh,
a guy.
Yeah. So we're working on to get things out there. It's just you know.
So I was a part of an archaeological dig. Well, me and Lauren and Jossie and this that in Birdsboro, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
At they're called the Mounds Jones houses. There's two houses that are next to each other, and they're actually doing. So they let us come in. It wasn't a public one,
Right.
but because we know people, um, they let us go and go and even go inside the houses while they're in the middle, and they were showing us how they do it and everything. I mean, it was the coolest thing I ever saw. So if you want another connection to see, let me know, and I can.
Yeah, we'll see. We see if we can get, because it'd be cool. I mean, there's so much, we're sitting there that, I mean, way back there was digs, and we have buckets and stuff that's just sitting around. Yeah, and it would be, it would be nice to dig a new drainage system, but there's nowhere for it to drain. So that's the only problem. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So what kind of spirits are we talking? Kind of linger. I know we
yeah,
digressed. And
I
um,
know. All right. Well, we have one of our most famous spirits is our tour guide ghost, and he's a Revolutionary War soldier that was killed in the siege of 1777 that likes to give tours. He's been cited numerous times. It's always when there's only one or two people in there. Um, during Wednesday through Friday, you check in at the old hospital building. Saturday and Sundays, you check in inside at the gift shop. But so this would be during the week when there's hardly anybody there. They check in at the hospital building, go on in. The one we used, there was one woman that was there, and Wayne, the old uh, Wayne, the old groundskeeper, was just sitting on a bench in front of the enlistment barracks, and this woman comes out. And
Cripe. Go ahead, keep
she's
talking.
dusting, and
Ignore me.
she raved about the soldier the tour guide that just was in the Powder magazine. And Wayne's like, well, describe him. And she described him, Revolutionary War soldier. And he's like, well, I'm the only one here, and we don't have a tour guide today. So she ran back in there to check, and there was no one there. And so she got right out and drove away, went home. And we had another time a guy come out of the fort up to the hospital building to say, raved about the tour guy again, explicit details of the bombardment of 1777, when just raved about this guy and was told, well, you were the only one in there. We have no tour guides. He wouldn't believe it and took off. He's been reported numerous times. School groups come. The kids will see him standing around, and he's explicit detail does. He's got a ponytail and he's got brown hair.
Right?
He's
I was just thinking that, Kim.
what's that?
She said that's
Oh,
so.
I ask for him all the time. I get there and I'm like, "Hey, come on, I've seen him, but I haven't gotten the tour yet. I want him to give me the tour. So if
I
there's
just want to see
anything I
him.
need, yeah, he's cool. He's a revolution. I've seen Civil War guys. I was walked out the west side of the port towards the parking lot, and I stopped dead in my tracks. And a Civil War soldier, Union Civil War soldier, was walking across the parking lot, going over towards the hospital building. And I didn't get my phone out to take a picture or anything. I just stared and looked at him. He was in living color, um, and he just walked and then he disappeared. But his insignia was a red V. He was a private, and it was red.
Oh wow.
And so when we have every year, we always have our Civil War reenactment when the fort was a Civil War prison. Um, all the Union guys, none of them had a red V, not red insignia at all. Not, it was yellow or white or whatever. And I go, would there be anybody that had like a red insignia, like a red V, a private red V? And they said, yeah, that would have been artillery unit. And so that makes sense. There would have been, the guards there, but then, still they would have the artillery man because the Confederates coming up in case the Confederates came up to Delaware. So that made so much sense that he was an artillery uh, s- uh, unit that was at the fort that I saw. So you could see full bodies anytime. besides the tour guide. Like I say, there's a headless, faceless spirit that's there. Some people
That would
say it's
creep me out. That would creep me out.
yeah, yeah. Some people think it's William Howe because William Howe, he was hung there. If people don't know about William Howe, he was a uh, Civil War soldier that got sick and decided down in Fredericksburg, Virginia. Decided he was going to get better at his house. He walked all the way up his house to Perkiomenville in Pennsylvania, and 6 months go by or so, and Lincoln sent troops up to get him, and they bang on his door, don't identify himself. Someone shoots,
Oh
and
no.
yeah, one of the uh, marshals was shot and killed, so he's in arrested and brought to the fort. And he's eventually tried guilty of murder and desertion, and he's hung at the fort. So some people think the faceless, um, headless man is William Howe because they would have put a hood over his head to hang him. But during the siege, 1777, which was your largest bombardment of the Revolutionary War, guys were getting blown to pieces. The British were shooting up to 1,000 cannonballs an hour at the height of the battle, and it's documented that guys got their heads blown off. And there
Oh, I
was a
guess that makes more sense to me.
yeah, and there was a captain, and he's a famous written up captain, Stoddard, um, and his head got completely blown off. So I really think it's him who's the headless, faceless guy that wanders through the fort. So
I don't know if you answered this, but I don't want it to get ahead of us.
right
The tour guide, Todd's asking, has he ever spoken or just appears?
now, the tour guy gives good tours. He interacts.
I
He's
guess if people
speaking.
think they got a tour.
They get a tour. He gives
So
explicit
crazy to me.
details.
That's so crazy to me.
Yeah. Now, when the kids are around, he just stands and they see him. The adults don't see him. The kids will see him, and he's just hanging out. But no, he gives explicit tours. So
That's
that's why I feel, it's like, man, he hasn't given me a tour yet. And you know, I'll be there 2, 3 o'clock in the morning all by myself asking for the tour guide. So,
yeah.
but
Carmen
yep.
asking, there have been Germans there, like Hessians.
The Hessians came, after the fort fell. You know, I mean, you got to remember it was mostly a bombardment. The British just bombarded the hell out of the fort. Um, so the Hessians stormed over at the Fort Mercer across the river, got their butts kicked. But the fort when the fort fell, you had the British Marines, and of course you would have had Hessians come in. So yes, people do pick up German. People pick up French because the French were the ones that helped rebuild it under John Adams. But yeah, I mean, you get good EVPs, full bodies, shadow figures. People get touched. Nothing negative there. But we have children that have died there, children spirits, women that died there, women spirits. Um,
Stacy
so,
was asking something too. Speaking of women spirits,
mhm.
she said, "Is there a lady in a green dress?"
um, Probably. I mean, the woman that's been prevalent right now is she's all in blue, but I can see the woman in green. I know what you're talking about. She would have been in the like a Civil War poofy dress. But yeah, you know, yep, touched. Yeah, I know people get touched, and
And I can only imagine that when you guys do reenactments there, that's got to drum up some. You know what I mean? Like just you know,
oh yeah, I mean, and the reenactors there. I mean, those guys they will tell stories. I mean, you get guys that are total skeptics that don't believe, and I've had guys. I had one. It was just last year during our fireside, which unfortunately got canceled this Saturday.
so sad.
Um, but I go in casemate 5, have a fire going there, and I tell the story about the casemates, about the being Civil War. They were military prisons, and I sit in casemate 5, and that's where the Union prisoners were kept. But I'll have equipment out, and I tell stories about, the spirit stuff. And I had this one person that total skeptic, and then next thing you know, later on he came in and he's crying, and he's like, "You won't believe what just happened to me." He was outside, and he was physically touched, and he had a hat, and the hat was knocked off of him, and it got him really upset. So um, my, we had a talk, and so he ended up leaving after that.
Wow. I mean, I've been in there. I've heard whistles. Um,
Whistles, yeah, whistles. I mean, the whistles are common. You get the whistles. I've heard the snare drum, the cadence, snare drum going. Um, I've gotten hey. I get my name yelled. One time I'm walking and I hear attention. I'm like,
that's
what that?
awesome.
So I stopped. I saluted, and then I kept walking. Yeah, I mean, there all kinds of spirits there. I mean, like I say, there's the headless spirit, there's the tour guide spirit. Um, the judge was brought up earlier. The judge was a what political prisoner. There's a ghost. There's a spirit there that identifies himself as the judge. For years, tried to figure it out, but then we got. I found some books. I'll find them. These are called American Bastille, and it is this, and it written after the Civil War. And this author uh, wanted to identify Lincoln imprisoned tens of thousands of civilians during the Civil War. If you opposed Lincoln, opposed the Civil War, you got dragged off and locked up.
Mhm.
Um, so I found there was two groups of political prisoners at the fort. There was one from upstate, um, Sullivan County and Columbia County. They were called the Fishing Creek Conspiracy. They were a group of they opposed the war. They refused to report for the draft. Lincoln sent troops up. They rounded up a bunch of them, and they ended up sending 44 of them here at the fort. And then there was another group of 40 from Clearfield, Pennsylvania, and one of them was the sitting judge, Jacob Wilhelm, and he was actual sitting judge. He actually had two sons in the Union Army. He was a supporter. He opposed the war. He opposed Lincoln, and boom, they actually had his sons arrest him, and then he was brought to the fort. So,
Holy
um,
crap.
yeah, so a lot of these guys got sick and died there.
So there's
Jacob,
yeah, there's like so much emotion that could be just kind of
hmm
soaked
yeah.
in from the property as well. You know what I
It
mean?
is. It is because at that time too, the wives of these political prisoners camped outside the gates. They weren't allowed to come in and see their husbands. They stayed out there and they were crying and moaning and
Aw.
screaming. Um, so the only time they'd ever get to see their husband is basically when they brought his body out. So it's just
And there,
um,
and there was just a. I know you wanted to talk about this too, so I just want to bring this up. But there was a really cool book just written
yeah.
before it as well.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up too. If anybody's into reading, um, a couple years ago, I had the pleasure of meeting author Richard S. Stepp. If he's a professional EMT, but he writes books, and you might see him on Paranormal, Haunted Hospital, Paranormal 119. He's on those shows. But he's came and spent a week at the fort. I was with him a few nights during the week, and it's called "The Ghost That Saved America." And he
See,
wrote about what happened, and it's a pretty good book if you want to learn about some of the spirits there. He, we experienced quite a bit those nights there at the fort. So,
that's awesome.
uh,
Do you ever get
yeah.
nervous like when people are coming like that that they're gonna be shy?
No, no. I mean, um, I
Mostly everybody has experiences when they go there, though.
most of the experiences get there. Yeah, I mean, um, if anybody comes in, I always make sure it's like when Jack and Katrina came in for Portals to Hell, first thing I do is walk around, and before I do any open investigation, anytime before anybody's coming in, I will go through the fort and talk to them and just let them know what's going to happen. There's people coming. I will talk, and I said, feel free to engage with these people. You know, you're welcome to do anything except don't be aggressive. If you want to grab somebody, let them know you're there. Fine. I just tell people, no super aggressiveness. So we don't want that. But I do that. I walk the whole fort, go to the whole place, and just talk to them.
Right. That's awesome. And everybody so Portals to Hell's been there. Ghost Hunters has been there.
Right, and other ghost finders, and there are Paraflix, and then there's all kinds of other
The best
YouTube.
is
The what?
Paranormal Peaches were there.
Yeah, Paranormal Peaches, and yeah, um, there's a lot of the YouTube stars have been there. I've been trying to get Destination Project Fear there, um, because no one stays the night. When the shows come, they're done by 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I mean, Portals to Hell was there 4 days, but they're there during the day doing stuff, and then they do their thing at night, and they're out of there by some nights midnight or something. But I would love to get somebody spend the night, casemate 11, somebody in casemate 5, somebody in
I'll stay the
West
night
Valley.
too.
Yeah, just spend the night, and because the longer you're there, the more activity you're going to get, and the more you come back, they get to know you, and they respond better.
Absolutely. I will say this. I remember hearing the EVP of John Baptiste, remember? And
Hmm.
you actually said that there was some validation in the history records of a John Baptiste.
Correct. Yeah. Again, the fort was rebuilt under the French with the Adams, and yet the engineer that rebuilt the fort based everything off of John Baptiste was another French engineer, and so I would imagine his name was quite used quite often. I've gotten an EVP with that name too, the Jean Baptiste. So yeah,
We should have a slumber party, Greggy.
yeah, could have
We
us
should sell tickets for a slumber party.
good. Well, the Peaches, you guys, are welcome to spend the night that night. Once we get done with the open investigation, boom, you guys there for the night. Get it. That works always out good because the people that are there, the public, they're gonna they're gonna stir everything up, and then boom, you guys are
Oh man,
there the rest of the night. Yeah. So, yep.
I'm excited about that for sure.
Tent bubble. Yeah. No, the casemates is. I mean, I've spent a night in there, but I didn't sleep. So it was
No,
nah. I mean, um, it was footsteps, and then every time I closed my eyes, it was like somebody was shining a flashlight in my face, because it was like my eyelids were like, you could see through your eyelids, the red. It was like a light right in front of my face every time I tried to close my eyes. And then the footsteps. I had a fire going in the fireplace, and I had the door. You had the door shut. You hear the footsteps come, and they get right in front of the door and stop, and then they walk back down the hallway away from you, and you're like, oh God. So yeah, casemates are cool to sleep.
yeah, I'm looking forward.
Well, attempt to.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. We're excited. We love helping out the fort. We love coming to the fort. I love you. We love you. You're amazing. And everybody, please try to help out. I mean, even if you can't financially donate, there's other ways to help out. You share the link out for which now I know it's there, Greggy. I did not know there was a fundraiser for it, but you can share the links out.
Yeah,
And
and if anybody knows anybody that can, help out, have them contact the fort. We'd appreciate, if anybody volunteer, masonry, electrical, roofing, anything like that. We would appreciate it.
yeah, yeah, and those are the other things too. Like, yeah, even if you can't afford to, if you know anybody that has any trades to help fix it up, you know?
Right.
Who
Right.
wouldn't want to be a part of that type of history? Like that's why
Right.
that's one of the reasons I love doing this, you know, because
Right.
even if we're not, you know, raising thousands and thousands of dollars or giving thousands, but we're a part of helping the history stay alive or helping the
Right.
building preserved. You're part of that that location's history, you
Right.
know. Your name might not be in the newspaper or on TV or in a book,
Right.
but you were there, you did it, you know, that
Right.
you were part of that place's history, you know,
Yeah,
and
and tax season coming up, so you can get a tax write-off.
there you go. There you go. Um, yes, Greg is the best. And
Thank you. Thank you.
Kim said all in, we are definitely.
Oh
Um,
yeah, can't wait.
I don't know about those sprockets. Bethy would help out. Yes, Bethy,
Oh,
I know.
Beth, yes.
Um, so I'm glad you came on. I'm glad you talked about it. There's some things I learned tonight that I didn't even know. You know, which is I love when that happens.
Right. There's
Um,
more stuff I'm learning all the time, you know. I mean, there's
yeah,
amazing stuff. I just was able to identify that 10 bodies that were moved from the old cemetery over to the National Cemetery in Philadelphia. There's just a lot of things that, so much history that, you just got to dig in and you find more and more and more. It's amazing.
absolutely. Um, so everybody go to Fort Mifflin's Facebook page. We put the links up in here. Ignore
Yep.
mine because I'm
Yep.
blind and I spelled shit wrong, but Megan
Yep.
posted one.
Megan posted, and fortmifflin.us is the website, the information you can find there. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You scroll through, you'll see some of the old posts about, and the information's out there. So it's there. So yeah,
Yeah,
you can find it and we'd appreciate it.
absolutely. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Oh, here, Carmen has this up here. Fort Mifflin. There we go.
Mhm.
There's the link there. It's in the comments. Thank you, Carmen. I appreciate it. And thank you, Megan, everybody that posted the links. And everybody that came on. Please share this show out, not for Paranormal Brew, but for Greg and Fort Mifflin.
For the
Please,
history, for the history.
please share this out. Get people aware of, Fort Mifflin, it flies under the radar sometimes. Not all the time, but it does. And there are a lot of places out there that, are constantly raising money year round. But this is a little bit of a dire situation. So,
Yes.
please share this out. Share it out to people and ask, just people watch it and maybe it'll hit the right person. Maybe some people will, be able to donate or people be able to, give their time to come out and help out the fort.
Yep.
Right. I love you.
Love you guys. Love
Everybody
you.
watching, everybody saying love you. Glad they caught the show. Me too, Todd. Thank you. Everybody saying great show. Jing, all the way from Indonesia.
I was
Thank
just gonna
you.
say, yeah, get some Indonesian help out here.
Indonesia. Thank you, darling, for checking in. All my peaches. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for coming on and supporting Fort Mifflin and love you guys. It's okay. I'll forgive you. Love you too, Stace. Thank you. Greg, we'll be in touch. I love you. And I'll see you
All
soon. And
righty.
I'll have a Paranormal Brew shirt in a minute. Don't forget to message me your address.
Gotcha.
And I'll send you love you, Jossie. I'll send you a shirt.
Okay.
All right. I'll talk to
Gotcha.
you soon.
All right.
All right, everybody. That's a wrap. Thank you everybody for joining me this evening. And again, like I said, please share it out. Again, not for me, but for the fort and for Greg. Get the word out there for it. I appreciate everybody coming on and love y'all. And until next week, peace.